Okay, we are live now and recording. So, welcome back, everybody. Uh, this session is going to cover grading in Schoology. First thing I want to discuss, again, as we do with all of these, is make sure you log this on your IPDIP so that you get credit for that. And Trish, did we ever get a confirmation back about?
Yes, it was. These sessions can just be added to your building and district PD log.
Okay, perfect. All right. So make sure you do that so you get credit for that. All right. So agenda for this session is we're gonna cover setting up your SysConnect program in Schoology so that your grades can pass from Schoology directly into Progress Book without having to re-enter them. Okay, that's a really big benefit. If you're grading something in Schoology and putting those numbers in there, you shouldn't have to go in Progress Book and do that again. You can just push a button and it sends the grades directly to Progress Book. So we're going to talk through setting that up. I can't show it to you today because we don't have our courses set up, but we'll talk through that process and hopefully that'll help a little bit. Then we're going to talk about rubrics, how to create them, how to use them to grade in Schoology. We're going to talk about setting up grading groups. So if you're differentiating and you have a group of upper level kids, mid level kids, lower level kids, IEP kids, you can assign those different kids assignments and grade them differently depending on how you want to grade them. And then just basically how to grade an assignment in Schoology. And we'll take it from there. First off is the SysConnect portion, and before you get your courses, this will help set up that process and set up your grade book. So let me share my screen with you. Let me get the right screen up here. Sorry, folks, I've got a lot of screens open. Nature of the beast. All right. So Trish created a great document that is shared in your Wakelet about how to set up your SysConnect for the year, for the semester, for the term, whatever you're doing. So the main thing that you have to remember is that the grades match on categories. Okay, so I know most of you have done this when you set up your progress book at the beginning of the year. You set up your grading categories, whether it be homework, tests and quizzes, classwork, whatever those categories are that are in gradebook have to match exactly with what they are in Schoology. Okay, so to do that, you're going to set up your categories in progress book first. Okay, set them up there the way you want them. Set up your progress book exactly like you always do. All right. Then inside of Schoology, you're going to go to that left-hand column and click on Schoology SysConnect. You'll probably get this little approval screen to where you have to approve to use that app. Just click approve. Then you're going to get this SysConnect app window. The next button that you press is called configuration because you're configuring how it's all going to work. What it should pull in for that course is your categories for what you set up in progress book. That's why it's important to do your categories in progress book first and then do this process. So you've got your categories here in progress book, and you'll see that in your Schoology course you don't have any categories yet. All right. So what that will do is you need to click on that little drop down menu and you need to say create this new category in Schoology. Okay. So what if you already have categories set up in your Schoology course? You can match them if you need to. But my suggestion is to not create any categories in Schoology and just have this process create them. So this is Progress Book. This is what you're going to do in Schoology. You're going to create those categories in Schoology. Click that Save Configuration button, and that will create the categories. Once you have that done, that's what it should look like. They should match exactly. So that when you set up your assignment in Schoology that you're going to grade in Schoology, those are the categories you have to choose from that match to Progress Book. Okay, I'm going kind of fast on that. Does anybody have any questions up to that point?
Robin, what do you click on after when you've got in there? You pull down create new Schoology category, and then is it save configuration?
Yeah, save
What's
configuration.
Save.
Yeah,
okay.
right there. Save
Okay,
configuration.
thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So once you've clicked Save Configuration, then you'll see that the drop-down menus will actually show the category names and titles. And you'll need to do that for each course that you have, okay? Even if they're linked. So if you have a linked sections of the same course, there's a little number right above there. You click on that, and you'll have to drop down to that and do that for each one of those sections. See that? It's very, very tiny and very, very small. So if you're doing it on a linked course section, you have to click on that and choose the linked section and repeat that process for each one. Okay? Syncing grades, okay? There's a couple ways you can do that. So in your gradebook on Schoology, say you have an assignment that you've already graded. So you simply come to the gradebook in Schoology there. I'm clicking on it like it's a real thing. Sorry, let me go back to that. And you have a couple of different indicators here. First off is the little circle up here. That's going to sync all of the grades that you have set up in Schoology and send them to Progress Book. Just clicking that button, that's what it'll do. Okay. The status log, and I don't know if we have a picture of that. We probably don't. The status log, it brings up all of the assignments in this course and a status of whether that was a successful sync or not. And then it also has this little circle bubble next to it. So say, for example, you have an assignment that you just want to sync that assignment. Click on the status log, pull up, find that assignment, and then just click the circle next to it. And it will sync just that assignment. This one's going to sync all of them. To sync individuals, you can go here and find that. Okay. You can check on Progress Book. It's not instantaneous. So if you click this button and then you go right over to Progress Book and look for it, it might not be there. Okay. Progress Book says it can take anywhere up to 7-10 minutes for it to sync over. So don't expect it to be instantaneous. Now, I will say toward the end of the year last year, it was instantaneous. You could click on that and it would pretty much be there. But sometimes they don't show up right away. Don't freak out about that. It will eventually be there. Bless you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So in this document are some more frequently asked questions about syncing your grades to Progress Book. Just one thing I will say, we had a question about it in the last session. Do comments that you put in Schoology, do they transfer to the comment section in Progress Book? They do not. It's just the grade. Okay. And Trish also noted here on this document that you can see the scores that have synced by this little blue arrow there. Okay. Any questions about the SysConnect and setting that up for your Schoology courses.
I have a question. So do you have to have every single person graded before you can sync it?
No. If there's not been a score put there, I mean, it'll sync that there's no score there. But yeah, no, you don't have to have every person scored before you sync it.
But then if they're graded later, you sync again, do you have to sync again?
Yes.
And it'll still just place that
Place
extra
the new
in.
score there.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people ask me this question too. This is a good thing to point out. If you go to Progress Book and you change a score in Progress Book, and then so first that score doesn't go back to Schoology. Okay? So if you change it in Progress Book, it does not go back to Schoology. So if you change that score in Progress Book and you go back to Schoology and hit sync, it's going to change the score that you changed in Progress Book. Okay? So you always, if you're using the sync function, you always want to change the score in Progress Book. Or no, not, I lied. Schoology. Schoology. You want to change it in Schoology, not Progress Book. Because every time you hit that sync button, it's going to take whatever's in Schoology and put it in Progress Book. Okay? So that's a really important distinction to understand. If you want to change a score that you are syncing in Progress Book, change it in Schoology and sync. Okay? If we don't want all assignments to go to Progress Book, we should go to the sync status log and choose individual assignments. That's correct. Yes. Go to the sync status log and just sync the ones that you want. Now, if you make a mistake and hit that big sync button on the then everything's going. Everything's going. Now, the other thing that you can do is if you have an assignment in Schoology that you do not want to sync to Progress Book at all, set up a dummy category. Say this category does not sync, or call it something specific that is not in Progress Book, and that assignment will not go over to Progress Book. Okay?
Robin, a question regarding once you sync it over to Progress Book. If you do not have a grade in Schoology for a particular kid, does that show up as missing in Progress Book, or is it just blank?
It's just blank.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
okay.
We had a question last year because you can mark an assignment missing in Schoology as well. But I don't know if, I'll have to find this out. I don't know if that mark then goes over to Progress Book.
Okay.
But you
Gotcha.
do have the ability to mark assignments missing in Schoology as well in the gradebook.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have to set up the assignment in Progress Book before you sync, or you don't set up any assignments in Progress Book now?
Yeah, don't set it. If you're going to sync the assignment, don't set it up in Progress Book. Set it up in Schoology the way you want it. How many points. I'll show you that process too. But and then you'll hit the sync button and it will send all of that information, the points possible, the name of the assignment, all of that stuff gets pushed over to Progress Book.
Okay.
Okay. And I apologize. I wish I could actually show you what all that looks like right now, but they won't let me. So,
hey, Robin.
Yeah.
This is just a Progress Book question, so it doesn't really pertain to Schoology, but it's kind of along the thinking. So when you put a question mark in for a missing assignment, you can change that back to a grade. But if you put in an exclamation point marked as excluded, that stays. You can never undo that. Am I correct in thinking that?
I don't think so. I think if you put a score in there to replace the exclamation point, that will replace the excluded.
Okay. It just seemed like this spring I had marked somebody excluded and he submitted something. So I tried to put that grade in, but I couldn't undo that. But I could be wrong. So I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'll check on that, but I'm
Okay,
pretty
thank
sure
you.
you should be able to replace that exclude.
Okay, thanks.
Uh-huh. All right. Any other questions about SysConnect right now? And again, once you get your actual courses up and running, if you have questions as you go through this process, let me know. Me or Trish or anybody, let us know, and we'll get you the help you need. Okay. All right. Next up, I'm gonna start talking about rubrics. If I can find the right screen to share. Okay, there we go. So first of all, and you can just yell out if you want, how many people use rubrics or know that they exist? Does anybody use them?
I've used one before, but they're few and far in between when I use them.
Okay.
This is Brozart.
I've used them a few times on math tests.
Okay.
I use them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I use them all the time.
Awesome. All right. So then this will be a review for you guys mostly, but I'm going to hit on a couple things, and if you guys have things to interject or throw in, please do so. So the way I used rubrics when I was teaching is that I housed them. Oh, I don't want to go to that window. Sorry. I housed them in my resources. So because I had rubrics that I used multiple times, and I didn't want to recreate them for every single time I did a course because that got really cumbersome. So I created a collection over here in my resources that housed rubrics. And then once my courses got set up, I can just copy that to the courses that I'm using, so that just makes it easier for me to grade assignments. So once I copied that to a course, to use that rubric, then I'm going to create my assignment, whatever that might be. Give it a due date. Give it a category. And then scale or rubric, instead of choosing numeric or letter grade, I can just simply choose the rubric that I have now that I've got it sent to my course. So, or I can create a new one. And I'll show you first. Let's do this. So there's my rubric for this assignment. And I click create that assignment. And what's really nice in the assignment then is that it shows the students the rubric right there in the assignment, and they can see what's expected of them right there, right? So then to grade that, let me go over here. I'm going to go to a different assignment here. What's really nice about that is then when I go to grade it, I just click, instead of putting a point number in there, I click on the rubric icon, and that brings up the rubric. And all I have to do is click the point that I'm giving in that category. It does the calculation, save it, and now that student's grade is recorded. So it makes grading very easy in Schoology. So let me go just show you very quickly. If you want to create a rubric, you create your assignment. I'm going to go back to that test assignment real quick. Instead of using a preset rubric, I can click create a new rubric. All right. And that brings up the window, and it gives you a template, right? So I know it's probably right on the edge there. So so you give the rubric a title. You can come in and give each one of these things however you want to set it up. So if this is your criteria, you can give an explanation about the criteria. You can change the point values for each section. You can change the descriptor for each point value. You can set it up however you want. If you want to move this criteria up here, you can do that. You can delete the row. Say you only want a couple of rows for your rubric. You can delete those down to where there's just 2 rows or 3 rows. You can add learning objectives to the rubric. You can add a new criteria. Once you get it created, click create, and you can then use that in that assignment. So it's not going to let me create it because I don't have the titles that I need. So basically that's how you use rubrics. Very cool tool. Once you get them used, you can put them in your resources, reuse them in courses year after year, edit them as needed, and it really makes grading assignments a lot easier in Schoology that way. Any questions on that? Yeah.
Don had a question, and then Terry will get to yours too. I don't think you can do this, but you can't take a picture of a already created rubric and add it in, can you? It wouldn't be interactive at that point.
No, I mean, you can do that, but it won't allow you to grade it that way.
And then,
Robin, yeah, if you had, could I change, like I've done both ways, like numbers, and then so many numbers turn into an A, or could I do letter grades? Like if you have this, it's going to get an A. This is going to get a B. Would that still work?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, if your grades are set up with letter grades, yeah,
okay,
shouldn't be any reason why it wouldn't work. Yeah.
And then Don's also asking, if you create the template, if you create one of the one as a template, can you then put that into your resources? And
yes. I don't remember off the top of my head how to do that. But I think it's in grade setup. Let me share my screen again. I think, let's see. So over here, like in this course, go to grade setup. Once you create a rubric in a course or import it into your course, to find all your rubrics, you can go to grade setup, click over here on rubrics. And these are the rubrics that you've created or imported into this course, and then you can save it to your resources from there.
Well, and then Robin, you can also copy all of your rubrics over to a new course all at once too.
Yes, absolutely.
You want to show them the copy settings?
Yeah.
Do you want to show them the copy settings?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can copy rubrics over categories, grade scales, rubrics, anything that you're using in this course. Say you just want to copy the rubrics, you can copy them over into individual courses that way too.
And if you didn't already do that, you can still access courses from last year through your archived courses. So you can, if you've got things from last year that you want to reuse and they're not in your resources, you can go to archived and pull up that course and copy it over to your new course once it's created.
Yeah. Can you show that step again? My head was down. Sorry, and I missed that click.
Yeah. So to copy specific rubrics to your resources, so I have that collection of resources for rubrics there. I'm going to click this arrow and save to resources, and then choose the collection that I want. I'm never going to find it. There it is. Save it to that collection, save a copy there. Or if you have rubrics in this course that you want to copy to another course, click copy settings, uncheck those two things, and just copy those rubrics to the other courses that you want to use them in.
Delaney has a question. Can you have different point values in the rubric?
Yes. So when you are, let's see, let me pull it up again. So this one I changed to be 210. I can change this to be 2.5, 3. You know, I'm just making stuff up here, but, and it will, where'd it go? Oh, I guess you have to have whole numbers, right?
No, it just moved it
It just-
for
there-
greater to lot to
There we go.
lower.
Yeah, there we go. So, yes, you can put different point values. You can customize the whole thing to however you want. Any other questions on that? All right. I am going to move on. I don't know why I got out of my screen, but I'm going to go on to grading groups. So, wow, I have drawn a blank. Where is it,
Grading
Trish?
groups. Yeah, they're in, where are they? That's a great question. They are in the grade book. I think it's grade book. Why am I drawing a blank too? Haha.
Can't you go to members?
Members, that's
Thank
it.
you.
And
Thank
then-
you.
Sorry. I do that one a lot. This one I know.
Had a brain fart there. All right. So, grading groups are in members. So you can organize members into grading groups. And like we said before, you can organize them however you want. You can have multiple kids in multiple grading groups. So, yeah. So you just simply do that by clicking Add Grading Group. Select the kids that you want to be in a specific group. Give that group a name. Create grading group. Again, I can, let's see. So as you can see, Tristan is in that group and Tristan is in that group. So you can have multiple members in multiple groups. And what makes that nice is I can add an assignment now. And when I click assign, I can assign it to just my blue group. Or I can assign it to just my sand group. Or I can assign it to my sand group and individual students. So that you can kind of differentiate your assignments between whatever you want. If you're doing a multi-level project and you need this group working on this and this group working on this, you can kind of spread up those groups a little bit. It helps you differentiate your instruction a great deal.
It does. One thing I would mention with the grading groups, if you have, if you're teaching 3 blocks of Algebra 1, and you're going to do a blue group in each block, I would have a different name for each one. So like blue group 1, blue group 2. If you have the same named grading groups in each block or in each course, it does get a little confusing then when you're trying to do things as to which blue group is pulling up to assign.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Those of you who have used it, do you have any tips and tricks or anything that you want to share?
Sure, I do.
Okay.
The one thing that I noticed, I was just kind of going through some of my old archive Schoology SIS Connect stuff with that is, and this is kind of going back a little bit, but everything that I assigned still shows up on the SIS Connect. So when you're syncing grades, it's whatever you put a grade to it would be syncing, but anything else that wasn't like a number grade, I guess, on it doesn't show up. So it'll show up as an error. Kind of, does that make sense? So like, if you don't put like a number grade to it or give it a category, it'll look like you have a whole bunch of errors on your Connect, but you're fine.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
shows up as errors.
Yeah, for some reason it does that. And the other thing I want to say about that too is if you're giving extra credit, like if your maximum point value for your assignment is 50 and you put in a score of 51, it will air out. It will not sync that. So that's
I
another,
learned that too.
yeah, that's another good thing to point out. Thanks for that.
No problem.
Anybody else want to share? Amy, you look like you were about to say something.
I was just going to ask the question about groups actually. So, because I've never synced before, but I've used groups all the time. So if I am like the same assignment won't show up twice, it's only going to show up for the kid that took that particular assessment, right? So I assign one assessment to one group and then I assign another assessment to my IEP students. So they won't see both of those when I sync them. There won't be like an empty column in Progress Book or
Yeah,
anything.
I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
there will be. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've never done it. So this year's the year, I guess, and I'll figure
Right.
it out.
Well, let me know how that goes because I really don't know the real answer to that, but
I
don't
know.
think it's gonna-
I don't know either.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
We got a question from Dawn. Can you give different grades to students in the same group? Yes.
Yes. Yes. You're grading them individually. You're just assigning that, making that assignment to that group. So,
Right.
yeah.
It's just those are the kids that get that assignment and then can work on it independently, and you give grades just like you would anything else. It's just the kids not in that group don't see that assignment at all.
Right. All right. Good questions. All right. Then basically we're going to just go into grading a regular assignment. And I think this is basically just grading an assignment. So let me go in. Let me see if I've got one here. So here's an assignment. Nobody has submitted anything on that one, so that doesn't help. I thought
Robin, you're not sharing your screen, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
And while you pull that up, Amy's asking how to add, can tell us how to add photos to kids' names. I think, don't the kids have to do that from their own profile?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a contentious issue. So we have the ability to do a mass upload of photos. So when we get the disc from the photos from the photographer, we go ahead and upload them to Schoology, and then they appear there for about a day until the kids change them. So we like to give the kids, meaning other people than me, like to give the kids the ability to have fun with Schoology and have fun with their avatar, and that's all I can really say about that.
I feel like with this remote learning that it would be helpful, especially if we go remote early on, to have the kid's face there, next to his name.
That's a good point, and we can talk about that to the administrators and see if that's something that we want to kind of force on.
Yeah, because last year I had 5th grade and 6th grade. I didn't even see him once. It was just right on remote.
Yeah.
That was
a really
hard.
good point.
That's a really good point. We'll bring that up in our meetings when we talk about this to see if that's something that the admin team wants to take on. That's a good point. All right. Any other questions about that? Photos? Yes, please. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. So here's an assignment. You can see that the kids have turned something in here, and I can click on the individual student to see their assignment. And right now it's ungraded. I can't really grade it now. Oops, sorry. I can't grade it now because it's not in an active course. But the grading box would be here. You can put the grade right in there, the comment right in there, and students will be able to see those when they click on their grade book.
Robin, if you go to the test course, some of the assignments that I just did earlier from our How to Collect Work, Andy Anderson has a couple in there if you want to show them.
Okay. I'm not logged in as Andy, and I'm not part of that test course, but
Oh, you're not. I thought you were. I thought you created the test course.
I did.
I don't know. Let me look. Sorry, guys.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I am. I don't know.
But if you just go from the teacher side.
I don't see a test course. So
Oh, yep, you sure aren't.
can you
You
give
want me
me?
to share my screen real quick?
Yeah. Why don't you do that? Let's do that.
Sure. Okay, here we go. All right. Can you see my test course now?
Yep.
All right, so if we go to materials and we go to an assignment, let's see, I believe, where did I put that in this morning? Here's a picture of your work. Okay, so Andy, it says needs grading over here. And then when I click on that, now I can see that I actually have a grade box up here. And then one of the things too to take a look at when you look in this, you can see he submitted 3 different things. So I can go to version 1. If I click on my, drop down over here, I can go to revision 1 and see what he submitted this time, which is a picture. And then also, he also submitted a video. So we could go to that video and watch that video right here. This is me from this morning. But what I wanted to show you is this grade is right here. So you can give them a grade and give them a comment, click to show it to student, and then it will show up for them there as well. All right, Robin, did you want to point out anything else while we're on this screen?
No, I mean it's pretty basic and simple. Now, you can grade from the grade book too. So if you're giving a participation grade, you can just go directly to that grade book and enter grades from there as well.
Yep. So if I go to gradebook, and then Robin, if you want to pull up, I'll stop screen sharing in just a minute here, but so show them how you can flip between students, between the submissions pretty easily.
Sure.
But from what Robin was saying, that we could just put a grade straight into gradebook from here too. All right, I'll stop my share.
So let me do this again. So in grading and switching in between, so you could just click in there, pulls up the student's submission, whatever it might be. If they gave multiple submissions, again, like Trish said, they would be right there. Once I've got it graded, I just click this arrow, move to the next student. Their document failed. Grade it, move to the next student. Pretty straightforward and simple there. In grading rubrics, I touched on this a little bit in the last session in grading rubrics. In grading discussions, I touched on this a little bit in the last session. This is a discussion with a rubric built in, right? So I'm going to come here and see if Madeline has done her first initial post in 3. It looks like she has. And she has commented a lot on other people's things. So that brings up a highlight of her name as we go through and scroll through the list. So I can, if I just want to focus on her, I can read her posts and her comments. And on any single one of them, I can go over here and click on the rubric and click through and grade her assignment and click save. And now her assignment is saved, or her grade for this assignment has been saved. Okay. I can scroll down here, see that Zach, he did the minimum, perfect. But that Nicole Green, she didn't. Basic grading right there. Grading on discussions. Man, my brain's turning to mush at this point in the day. All right. Anybody have questions on grading assignments? The thing that you want to make sure that you know to do, and it does show up here. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to do that, but this button will sync to the entire grade book. And I can show, access denied because it's not the current year. But clicking on that would bring up the status log and where you can individually sync those grades back to Progress Book.
Amy has a screenshot of that. We can pull that up real quick if you want to share.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thanks, Amy.
I can screen share it. Sure. And then we did have a question. So before I switched to that image, Robin, so like Nicole Green didn't have any posts. How would you give Nicole a grade?
So then I would have to go back to the grade book and put that grade of 0 in there. If you were giving her a 0, just drop that in the grade book and then sync it there.
Okay. Let me share the screenshot that Amy had from a previous course. All right, and then Robin, I will let you kind of talk through that.
Yeah. So basically, okay, she went to the SysConnect app and said sync grades. So that's another option that you have. You don't have to do it from the grade book. You can actually do it from the SysConnect app, which is awesome. It gives you a list of grades. This one has not yet synced yet. So if I wanted it to sync, I would just click that button. These are the view errors, and 9 times out of 10, those have already gone. But like she said, if there's something wonky in there, it won't sync. If you've got an extra point in there, you'll have to figure that out and troubleshoot that as it goes along. That's pretty much it. Another comment there. So if we want all, okay. Where do we find that app? It's on the left-hand side on your Schoology course. So when you get your Schoology course and log in, that SysConnect app is down there on the left-hand side in your list of menus there on the left in your Schoology course. Wow, I feel like we've covered a lot, but we still have 15 minutes left. So does anybody have anything about Schoology that they want to have questions about or discuss? It's kind of our last little bit here to do that.
I have a question, of course. With you, the Schoology, you know how you had at one point, and this is nothing about grading, sorry, but you had a point where kids could do audio or a video audio and submit it that way. Mm-hmm. Is that a way also that teachers could do our quick recording for our week through Schoology? Is that another way, or do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're talking about, let me pull it up here.
Yeah, that would be a really easy way, Terry. It's already in Schoology. You don't have to get it into Schoology. You just use the webcam of whatever.
And if
device.
it's not long, I was like, well, why couldn't we do it that way? And then it's already there.
You absolutely could.
So let me just get into this course here. So you're talking about adding, let's see.
So it would be in their weekly folder, right?
Right. So yeah, let's go into week 1 folder here. So you're in your weekly folder and you want to add, what are we adding?
Do we want to add an inline page for the overview video? Can we do a video on there?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Yep.
So yeah, you click your little microphone down here.
Okay.
And
are you in Safari?
Yes, it doesn't work in Safari, sorry.
It works in Chrome.
Yes,
I
it
can
works
show
in Chrome. So yeah, so you would click that add page, click that icon. In Chrome, you would get that same icon, whether it's do audio or video. Share. I'm gonna unshare my screen, Trish. If you'll share your browser,
absolutely.
It pulls up that same screen where you could choose audio or audio and video, record your video, and it's right there linked on that page.
Okay, so if I go to my week of, and I want to add a page right here. I'm going to add materials, add page. And then right here, I can add my audio recording, so I can go to audio and video, because the idea is that they do see your face, especially if they're remote. Seeing your face is a pretty big piece to feeling actually connected. Okay, the first time you do it, you're going to get a little pop-up box right up here in your browser that asks you to allow access to your microphone and your camera. So you would just click the allow button. And then after that, you start recording. So welcome to week 1, everybody. Great to see everybody back at the middle school. Here's what we're going over for the week. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, stop recording. Give it a minute to upload. And this can take a couple seconds, especially if your video is like a minute or 2 long, but it'll go eventually. Insert recording. If you don't like it, just close out of it and then hit that button again and you can do a new recording. But now it'll be right here. And then I just
thought maybe that would be an easier way.
Yeah, for sure. And then for your written overview, you can write the written overview of the week right here.
Okay. And is there a length on those videos? I mean, is that through Schoology? Do you know if there's a time length? I mean, I know not a 15-minute video, but like if we were keeping under, is there like, I know Spotify has a minute, certain minutes you only have. Do you know? There's a file size, I believe, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. But if you're keeping this with a couple of minutes, you should be fine. Okay.
Robin, do you know?
Yeah, I don't think they've ever said there's a limit on the recording length, so that's something we can look up and find out. But
all right, well, thank you. I just thought maybe if we could do it, that may just be an easier way. I don't know.
That's awesome, Terry. Thank you.
Yeah. And then you just want to move it to the top. Why can I not drag this to the top, Robin? What am I doing here?
I made a tech and I did one thing. Oh my God!
Trish, could you just go over those steps one more time? So do you start with a page, adding a page?
Yes. So I'm gonna, it should embed right here too. It just takes a few minutes for it to load. But if I go, now remember, you want to do this in your weekly folder, right?
Okay.
So this is what your homepage of the course looks like. You open up the folder for the week that you want to add it into.
Okay.
Click on Add Materials. Go down to Add Page. And then from here, give it a title, weekly overview, and write your description, your written piece. You got kind of get the idea. And then click on the microphone right down at the bottom.
Okay.
Click on Audio and Video. And then here's your video. You click Start Recording.
Okay.
You record what you want. You click Stop Recording. So here, we'll do this just for a second. Make it quick. Stop recording. It'll upload. And then you click Insert right here. And so now it's right down here. And then now I can create, and then if I scroll down, this is where we talked earlier about making it inline. So it shows up right on the page. They don't actually have to click on it to open up another screen. The fewer clicks the students have to do to get to your content, the more likely they are to find it. So that inline piece is a good idea. And then click Create. Now, when it adds it, it's automatically going to drop it to the bottom. So if you have other resources and assignments in this folder already, just grab it and drag it and drop it right up to the top there.
Okay.
And then eventually they should be able to click on this link and it won't make them download it. Once it's finished rendering, they'll be able to watch it right here.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion. Super easy.
That is. That's wonderful.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Any other questions?
Dave says, after recording, does that push it out to the kids? Yeah, they'll just access it in your course, Dave. So they'll see exactly what you're seeing right here, but the video will actually be there.
Yep. If we give this a few minutes, I'll refresh it and then it should show up for us. All right. Do we have any other questions? Schoology in general, anything else? I thought there was one in the chat, but
Is there a way to hide assignments in gradebook? Last year my gradebook was a mess because I didn't learn how to sync until later in the year, so I had all these unsynced assignments. Yeah, unfortunately, you're talking about the sync window. Yeah, there's not much we can do with that. That is what it is. Can you hide assignments in gradebook? Are you talking about you're talking about Schoology Gradebook?
In Schoology, yeah. So I
Um,
didn't sync anything till later in the year because I didn't learn how to use Schoology till
to later, yeah.
I really needed to because I started so late at the school. So anyway, my grade book had a lot of spinny assignments that I'd never categorized because I didn't know how to do that.
Right.
But it synced everything that had been assigned. And
Right.
so by the time April and May came along and I had hundreds of assignments in there and I'd be looking for specific things to see if kids had submitted or if they had synced because they weren't transferring into Progress Book, it took me hours to try to find what I was looking for. Also, I don't think I named them very well, so I learned a better strategy for that.
Yeah.
But I was just trying to find a way to like hide or delete things that I didn't need to look at anymore. So you're saying no, once it's there, it's there.
Help me out, people that use it every day. I don't think there's a way to hide any assignments. Once they're in there, they're there.
Okay.
Can you do it?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Trish.
No, that's okay. I don't know if this will mess with the Progress Book sync, but if you can use like set it to your grade book if you've got a year-long class with semesters, with the periods, would that help at all?
I'm sorry, Trish, can you say that again?
Yeah, and this is going to Robin too. I don't know, I know like even with the year-long classes, we still have like quarters and semester grading periods. Robin, could we do anything with that to at least only see the current quarter for like a year-long class?
That's set up automatically through SysConnect. So when you're creating a course on September 9th, it's going to go in the first quarter. So your gradebook should show, like if you're set up for a year, I think at the middle school it'll be like semester. So you'll see first semester grades and second semester grades. But that's pretty much all the way that's set up.
What if you create an assignment first quarter that you don't want to use till second quarter? Will it not post because you haven't actually assigned it or created like a due date?
You'll have to be very purposeful on selecting the term for your assignment.
Okay.
So when you're creating that assignment, you're giving the due date and the point values and things like that. You'll have to click that drop down menu for term and choose the second term.
Okay.
And it should pick it up if you put a date in there, a due date for it. But I would also make sure that it does say the correct term that you want that assignment to go in.
Is there like a key or a way to label? Because I remember it was a really kind of a long description, but it didn't really articulate that you were actually in like quarter four. It was just like that long code, and I didn't know which was which.
Yeah. So let me pull that up real quick, and there is no way for us to change that. It's what comes from Progress Book and Dazzle, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just look at that real quick again. Let me share my screen. So this is what I see as an admin. I'm still not sharing it, am I? Hang on.
Yep.
So this is what I see as an admin. So how you have your categories that come in from Progress Book. I have my grading periods that come in from Progress Book. For middle school, this is what your terms look like. So they will have ROMS quarter one, ROMS quarter four. So you will see that when you get into your courses. So if it's a year-long course, you'll have semester one, semester two.
Okay.
If it's just a semester course, you'll have the 2 quarters that semester course is involved in.
I understand. Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. We are at 11:30. Does anybody else have any other questions?
I missed the beginning because I had a doctor's appointment. So this is recorded, right? Because I need to back up and learn how to actually set up the grade book. Was something that you guys discussed? Okay, great.
Absolutely. It is. It will be available on the TLH Learning Hub, and you can click it through the spreadsheet when we get those up, when we get those links uploaded.
Yep.
Okay.
And for any of the training, even if you lose the spreadsheet eventually, or if it's partway through the year and you want to come back to these, if you are in the Learn app on TLH and you just search for the search term webinar, it'll pull up all of our Ross Learning webinars that we've done this year and last spring. And you can kind of flip through those and get access to anything you want that we've recorded and posted.
Is Gradebook up, or do we have to wait till that gets going for this year?
Gradebook is not up yet.
Okay.
The goal, I think, at this point is to have it up midweek next week.
Okay.
If it comes up earlier than that, that's awesome, but they're working on it. All right. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for participating, and I hope you all have an awesome year. If you need anything at all tech related, please reach out to me, Trish. We are here to help you. We are here to get you through all this. So please let us know if there's anything you need.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.